Boom. What is up, Flow community? It is Jacob back at it again for another Flow video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about, or rather Cadence video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about events. So a lot of people have asked me about events, and I was like, well, I have a tutorial for that. And then I realized I literally didn't. So I don't know how I haven't covered events yet, but it's a very important topic on Flow. And I think really wraps a lot of things up in a good way. So events are basically a way for you to communicate things. For you, it's okay. I can't speak. Oh my God. It's a way for you to communicate that something happened in your contract. So if you think about a normal contract, when you deposit an NFT, for example, you can technically check to see that happened by comparing some state at time A, and then comparing the state at time B and being like, okay, somewhere in there, an NFT was deposited because I see an NFT is now present in my account. But an event makes this whole process actually much easier because you can emit, it's called emitting an event when something happens. So for example, if you mint an NFT, you can or if you mint an NFT, you can emit an event that says like, hey, something just happened, and you can name your event, and also you can pass in specific fields to your event to communicate that something happened on the blockchain. So actually what we can do, I wasn't even planning on doing this, but if we go to flowscan.org, flowscan.org is basically like, it displays all the latest transactions that's happening on mainnet. So let's actually, if we actually look here on flowscan, let me zoom in a little bit. You can actually see that so look, there's a ton of transactions happening. You can see that, but look at this. Under each one, it says events. Right where my mouse is, you can see it says 4 events. So those are things that are that happened in that contract. So if we actually click on one of these, let's wait till it slows down. Let's click on this one. This is a transaction that was just run, and let's look at all the events. So there were 12 events that were emitted during this transaction. There was a tokens withdrawn event. There was a tokens deposited event. There was a forwarded deposit event. So all of these events are named in some way. And what we can actually do, so look, here's one, right? So moment purchased. And you can see that moment purchased, well, where is it coming from? It's coming from, so remember the way that you, the identifier in Cadence, so this is called an identifier. It's basically just like a type. So it's saying this event came from an account with address C1, E4, whatever. And the name of the contract is Top Shot Market V3. So I'm assuming based on this event, a moment was purchased from the Top Shot, the NBA Top Shot marketplace for a contract. And in the field, you can actually read some of the data here. So there's a UN64 that this is the value. There's a UFIX64 with this 14 number. So I'm assuming that's maybe the price. And then there's an optional here, and we can see some other stuff. So like an address, right? So let's actually go, let's just open up whatever this takes us to. I don't know what this takes us to. Okay, let's go back for a sec. But let's actually go back down here. And where was it again? Moment purchase. So let's open this link in a new tab. And here we are, right? So let's actually, what we can do is let's go to the view source. And let's go to mainnet/account/ and let's go to this account right here. So OX this account. And we can go to the Top Shot Market V3 contract. Now let's look through this contract a little bit. So, look at this. So public event moment listed, public event moment purchased. That's what just happened, right? Because in here it says moment purchased, and these are the fields. So let's actually look at that, right? So here we go, moment purchased, and I'll explain all the syntax in a second because we're gonna write our own events. But here's moment purchased, and then there's ID, a price, and a seller, right? So the ID is a UN64. So I'm assuming that the ID that was purchased was this ID. The price is a UFIX64, so I'm assuming it was like 14 flow or something. And the seller is an optional address. So the seller is right here. So who sold it? This person sold it, right? So you can see right away that events are a way for us to see that, oh, something happened, and these are the relevant fields that are, like that relate to that event. So how do we define our own? Well, here's our contract. Let me zoom in a little bit. And let's just say, we have a public function create NFT that returns a NFT type, like so. And we can also define like a resource called NFT. And this is all just like background stuff so that we can like do some cool stuff. And this has an ID. So this is UN64. And then let's do like an init here. And the init just says like self.id equals self.uuid, right? Okay, cool. So that's just like some very like just basic setup stuff so that we can just do some stuff. And then in here, we can just return like a new NFT, right? So whatever. So what we can do is, let's say in this contract, we want to make it so that every time a NFT is created, we tell that to the blockchain. We say, hey, it's something which just happened. So the way that you define events is, and usually just for common practice, usually events are always defined at the topmost layer of the contract. So you can see even here, like all the events are listed at the top. So that's just like a common practice, but you don't have to. So you say public event and then the name of the event. So let's just say like NFT created. And I want to note here that it's always public. So events are always public and they always have the event keyword. You know, public is the same thing as access all, but whatever, you get the point. And then in here, we can pass in we can have some parameters. So let's say we want to know the ID. So let's say the ID is a UN64, right? So that's all that's really going to be relevant in this case. And so that's saying that, hey, this event expects an ID field here. So what we can do is we can say, okay, create the NFT. And let's just say, you know, we'll pass in the ID here. So ID will, okay, so that's that, right? So what we can do is but instead of just returning it directly, we can say let NFT equals create NFT. Then we can emit NFT created and say the ID is NFT.id. And then we can return the NFT, right? So this says, let's create an NFT. Let's emit that the NFT was created and then let's return. And so the emit keyword is basically like you're emitting an event, which means you're broadcasting the event that you defined here with the parameters inside of it. So that's pretty much it. There's no way for me to show you that this works on the playground because it's like the environment doesn't support it. But this is a cool way to actually like, you know, just see that, hey, we define an event and then we emit the event here. And so you're going to see like, let's just even use the NBA Top Shots for our contract. So right here, moment purchased. Let's see where this is being emitted. So can we Command F in here? So emit moment purchased right here. So this is what just happened, right? So in what function is this in? So this is in the purchase function. So when you purchase, it does a bunch of Cadence stuff, and then you emit moment purchase, and you emit the ID is the token ID, the price is price, and the seller is self.owner.address, right? So you get the point, and then of course, when all is said and done, it appears on FlowScan when that is actually emitted. So I also want to note that I've already made a video. Let's actually let's look this up together. I've already made a video on how to query for events on chain. FCL stuff, Jacob Tucker, I think it's just called right here. So this video, it's called FCL.js stuff part 1 query for events on mainnet and testnet. Look at me. Wow. I'm the best of all time. But this video actually walks over how you can read events from the blockchain into your own application. So in this, like in the video that I'm recording right now, we went over how to like broadcast the event. In this video, I go over how to like read the events that are being broadcasted so you know what's happening. And one more thing before I end this video, if you've heard of Graphel.io, this is exactly what Graphel is doing. So Graphel is this service on Flow. They're a great team, and we're actually using Graphel right now in Float, which I've made a video on as well. Float's, you know, the POAPs for Float thing that the Emerald City built. But Graphel, their whole like platform is that you can basically go to the Graphel website. You can put in like an event identifier, which is like this, for example. So the address the contract the name of the event. And what you can do is you can put in the identifier, and then Graphel will automatically read the events for you, and then you can pull them into your application with Graphel. And so a lot of platforms use this. If we actually look up find on, I think it's called find.xyz. So in the .find project, if you actually go to live feed right here, it says waiting for live feed, and you can see it says powered by Graphel. So Graphel, what the find project is doing is they're using, oh god, that's not good to have in the video. Oh god. But you can see this is powered by Graphel, and what they're doing is the .find team is using Graphel to pull events onto their application. So this is a live feed of all the people that are registering their name, listed for sale, all that stuff, that it's live. So if someone were to right now, you know, list their .find name for sale, it would show up right here in live time. So that's sort of what events can be used for. If you're curious like how you can actually use events, check out this video, and you'll see Graphel and all those kind of things all the time. And we're actually doing that right now in Float, where if we actually open up Float right now, we're gonna have a /live page that basically uses Graphel to show all the events that are being claimed, and it'll show all the icons of the event and stuff like that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think that was a pretty good overview of events. Wow, I completely kicked butt. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.